So thank you so much for joining today's webinar. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how MoveBubble can help you win landlords, which is an interesting one because I imagine that a lot of you joined MoveBubble and became partners with us, mainly looking for renters and looking to connect with renters. So what I wanted to do today is talk you through the product a little bit more in a little bit more detail, so you can understand what we're doing and how you could then reposition that information when you're talking to landlords, so that you've got a better chance of winning that new instruction. So I've got a few different sections that I'm going to talk you through, and each section we're going to talk about a little bit of detail about the product and how it works, and then at the end of that section I'm going to give you an example of how you might reposition that to landlords, although I know that you guys are the experts on this one, so you can take that with a pinch of salt and of course adapt that as you go. So first of all, I think winning landlords is a lot about how you differentiate yourself from the competition, and I think being a partner with MoveBubble is actually helping to differentiate you already. So obviously we are an up and coming rental brand. We're one of the fastest growing rental brands. And interestingly, our brand awareness is really starting to creep up there now, to the level, almost the level of Prime Location, and not too far behind some of the bigger and older players such as Zoopla and Rightmove. So by joining MoveBubble, I think you've kind of bought into our renter first mission. So MoveBubble is all about how we can make the experience better for renters and just make that renting experience amazing. So I think by being a partner with us, you guys must align with that vision. You must be passionate about customer service and helping renters on their journey to find a new home. So by helping renters on our platform, you're actually building up some what we call performance stats. And with these, you can demonstrate your reputation to landlords, and you can kind of prove how great you are at handling inquiries and chats and deals from renters. So firstly, when you're having those really positive chats with renters and you're being really helpful, and you're helping them and being really friendly, renters will give you a great star rating. So at the end of the chat, we prompt the renter how helpful was Simon in the chat, and they can leave a rating and a review for you if they want to. Also, by responding to the renters really quickly, you can demonstrate to your landlords that you're super on the ball, you're really quick to respond, and you won't miss out on any leads. So there's no chance of you missing out on any leads and not finding a renter for their property, because you can show them that you're on it and you respond really quickly. And it also gives them a little bit of expectation in terms of what they can expect from you. If they have any questions, are you the kind of person that responds really fast? And finally, by responding to all of those renters on MoveBubble, you'll have a 100% response rate, which is great. So you can show the landlords that you're really making the most of all the leads and deals and inquiries and chats that come in by checking out every option and finding them the best renter for that home. So on the right, you can see a little screenshot there from the partner app, which you guys should have access to. And you can see your performance stats at the top there. So definitely a great opportunity to take that out and show that to landlords, and you can essentially prove to them how well you perform on MoveBubble. So if we think about positioning this to landlords, like what might we say? So here we've got, so you could say, here's a live example of how our agency performs on MoveBubble. You can see that we respond to 100% of renters in an average of 5 minutes, and renters have given us an overall rating of 5 stars. So that's just an example of how you might talk to landlords about that. And also, we're a tech savvy agency who truly care about the renter's experience, and that's why we're working with MoveBubble, who are utilizing the latest technology to deliver the best possible experience to renters. So just demonstrating that you're super tech savvy, you're always looking for new and better and more innovative ways to reach those renters and the high quality renters. So the next point here, and you may have seen some of this if you joined the webinar a couple of weeks ago, is that you can get their properties to market very fast with MoveBubble. So It's super, super easy to get a new property listed on MoveBubble. You firstly film a quick walkthrough of the property and you make sure that you mention all of the key points about that property. And what MoveBubble is doing in the background is we're listening to the words that you're saying and we're pre-populating that listing and those details for you. Then you can quickly review the details and make sure you're happy and everything is correct before you send it for approval. And we commit to approving all of the properties and walkthroughs in under 30 minutes. But I actually looked into the data this week, and it's actually on average just under 3 minutes that it takes us to approve a new property. So really for you, that's a couple of minutes to film the property, maybe a minute to just check those details are correct. And then in less than 3 minutes, that listing is live and shown to renters on MoveBubble. So in terms of what you might say to a landlord, so we can get your property to market faster than any other agent. If you're ready, we can film a video walkthrough today in just 5 to 10 minutes and get it live on MoveBubble almost instantly. So when you're there in the property with that landlord, having a chat about how you might market their property, you can offer to literally get your phone out and start filming that walkthrough and get that property on the market within minutes. You can also talk to them a little bit more in detail about walkthroughs and why video is so important and why that should be on their listing. Because if you're with MoveBubble, you can offer that to the landlord very easily and much more easy than another agent who may be creating YouTube listings or videos on another platform. So listings with video walkthroughs get 13 times more engagement than regular listings. And whilst we'll certainly have professional photos taken for you, this is a great way to market your property to a higher quality audience faster. So I'm sure that part of your pitch is talking about how you will market the property, and I'm sure that the landlords will want professional photos to be taken. But I think this just enables you to access that higher quality audience and very quickly. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the high quality audience now. So by having this video listing, you're able to access a much higher quality segment of renters on the MoveBubble platform. So our audience demographics look a little bit like this. So most of our audience is searching from the UK, which is great because it means they're in the area and they're available to move pretty soon. You can see the age range on the right there with the kind of red pink bars being female and the blue ones being male. So you've got a lot of younger females and the male audience is slightly older overall. And you can see that 58% of our audience are technology and mobile enthusiasts. So they're quite tech savvy. They like tech savvy apps and ways of doing things. But if we look at that video first audience in a little bit more detail, you can see that compared to the average renter, that video first renter and that video first audience has an average budget of an additional £400 per month higher than the average renter. And we can also see that the majority of that audience is made up of professionals, but there is a large proportion of students there. So these are students like they're doing a master's degree or a PhD, so slightly older students, and potentially also students moving from abroad. So in terms of positioning this and talking to your landlords about this, we've got the renters on MoveBubble are a much more tech savvy professional audience. We'll get your property seen by renters with a £400 per month higher than average budget, helping you achieve the rent that you want, because ultimately landlords want to get a good price and a good rent offer coming through from their next renter. So by working with MoveBubble, you're able to get your landlord's properties seen by the right renters and as many renters as possible. And that's because we really understand how renters want to search and what they need from their property search. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the product for renters. So we call it the Search app, so that you can understand how we've designed that to really meet the renters' needs. But firstly, I think it's just important that you can see the kinds of things that renters say about MoveBubble. There's a lot, we always get a lot of comments about it being easy to use, really friendly, really user friendly, which I think is great. That's a great sign for us that people are finding the homes that they like and they're finding that easy to access that content. So if we look a little bit more about search in detail, we know that renters want to build up their criteria for what they're looking for and compare all those results in one place. And that sometimes means seeing a list of homes in multiple areas. So if you think back to maybe a more traditional older website, maybe a Rightmove or a Zoopla, the search is quite one-dimensional. So you put in an area and then you go through and you see properties for that area, and then you go back and you do it again, you put in a different area, and then you go through and you see results for that area. So what we allow renters to do on MoveBubble is build up their search and make sure that they can see and compare all those results in one place, and also get notified on new properties that fit into that criteria. So they learn a little bit more about their search as they go. They maybe think about compromising a little bit, and whereas they may have thought that a balcony was a must, maybe it's a nice to have by the time they've searched a little bit more. And we also help renters to discover more than just the homes in popular areas. So again, with a Rightmove or a Zoopla, you really need to know the area that you want to search in before you can even see any properties, unless you do something very broad like searching the whole of London, which might be a little bit much. But with MoveBubble, we have a home screen where we suggest alternative areas or nearby areas or similar areas that renters who show the same search behavior also liked. So we help renters not just to search in Fulham, Clapham, Shoreditch, but those slightly more obscure areas just around those key areas. And we also do an interesting thing which we call fuzzy matching. And essentially fuzzy matching means that when a renter does search an area such as Fulham, they'll see the properties in Fulham, but if there was a property that was just outside Fulham, they'll also see those ones in their list too. So they're never missing out on something just because it was a tiny bit outside the area that they think they want to live in. So a sort of real life example for you on this, my property is on for sale at the moment, and it's on Caledonian Road. But if you go onto Rightmove and you search Caledonian Road, you don't see my property because it's just slightly further up Caledonian Road than what Rightmove defines as Caledonian Road, which is super frustrating for us because we're really, really close to the tube station. But unfortunately, we're just not showing up in those search results. So we made sure on MoveBubble that that never happens. So that won't happen to your landlord's property on MoveBubble. So when renters see something that they like, they tend to save it to their watch list or their favorites list, you could call it. And this unlocks some insight for them on the demand on that property. So if the demand is really high, we're encouraging renters to make sure that they inquire now and they don't wait too much longer. So we're really helping the renter along that conversion funnel. So they've done a bit of a search, they've saved something, and then we're really encouraging them to take that next step to get in contact with you about that property. And finally, MoveBubble is all about video first. We know this is what renters want. They can get so much more information from a video about that property than they can do, and much faster than trying to read through all the property details and all the description and looking through lots and lots of photos. So we're focusing on a video first experience and how we deliver that really well to renters. And we're also looking in the coming months at a video first map search. So we know that renters love to search on a map. It's super helpful and it does overcome some of those issues like properties being just outside the area that you specified. But how can we deliver that in a video first way? And that's something that keep your eyes peeled because it will be coming in the next month or so. Something else that's coming in 2 to 3 weeks time actually is enhancing your listings with area specific content. So you've gone to the landlord's property, you've created the video walkthrough of the property, and what we're going to do is dynamically choose some area content which shows you an insight into the area nearby that property. So for example, if your property was in Fulham, we would pick the 5 or 6 nearest Fulham area videos and we would show those and tag them onto the end of the property. So when you're listing that property on MoveBubble, it's not just the content that you create, we actually try to enhance that to give renters more of an idea of the lifestyle and what it would be like for them to live in that area, and what are some of the lovely things that they can discover if they move to that area. And I think another interesting point about your performance stats is that we're going to start using these to help renters build trust in your brand on your listings. So we'll be showing things like your ratings and your response time. We'll be showing your logo, which I hope you've added in your app. If you haven't, you can do it from the profile. And we'll be showing some positive reviews. So what are the really nice things that other renters have said about you, like that they loved working with you. And we'll also be enabling renters to just click in one tap to see a list of all your homes. So if a renter does discover you maybe via a particular property, they think, wow, this is a really reliable agency and I would love to find something with them, then they can click through and see all your homes in one place. So in terms of the renter's journey, they don't want to go on loads of physical viewings. It's super time consuming. And if you think about the average renter, they maybe go on 5-6 viewings, but they're only going to rent one property. So that's a lot of viewings going on in the market that are a waste of time that maybe could have been solved with by that renter watching a video up front. So on MoveBubble, renters come to watch a video walkthrough, they make a reservation, or you may call it an offer, and then they can have that offer accepted in the app and secure their next home. So let's look at the positioning and how you could take some of this and talk to your landlords about it. So we partner with MoveBubble because their search is much more intuitive, meaning that if your property falls slightly outside an area, it will still be found by renters on MoveBubble. We also enhance your listing with bespoke content about the area, so renters can see the home and get an idea of the lifestyle. They'll be more qualified before a viewing, or better still, they'll feel confident to instantly book that home online, which they can do on MoveBubble. Okay, next one, controversial one potentially, but with the MoveBubble app, you are available 24/7 to handle offers. So if a deal comes in maybe just 5 minutes after you left the office, you're still going to get that deal because we're going to ping you on your phone and you'll get a notification about it. So I don't know about you guys, but I know who I would prefer to list my property with if I was a landlord. So if you look at a traditional agency, they potentially can't or won't handle any inquiries or offers outside of office hours. We did a study on this and we found the average time for an email response from a traditional agency, so if you inquire maybe on their website or on one of the portals, is around 14 hours. That's how long it takes them to get back to renters. And those offers can really only happen inside office hours. So maybe a renter saw the property on Saturday, but they're not going to be able to really submit that offer or get any kind of progress on that offer until Monday morning, when I know everyone's super busy. But if you compare that to a MoveBubble partner, MoveBubble partners can chat to renters directly in the app. Our average response time across the board is less than 30 minutes, and that's any day of the week, any time of the day. And MoveBubble partners can also handle and accept offers 24/7. So if an offer did come in on a Saturday evening or a Sunday morning, then if you wanted to, you could put that forward to the landlord straight away, and they would know that you were dealing with those offers instantly. I thought this was an interesting stat. So your odds of qualifying a new lead decrease 6 times after the first 60 minutes of that lead coming in. So it tells you that that first 60 minutes is really important, and trying to get back to renters quickly is super important. So if you think about the renter's journey, they're probably inquiring with maybe inquiring on 10 different properties potentially. Especially if they're near the beginning of their search. So the longer you take to respond to that renter, the less likely you are to convert them into a deal. So that speed piece is really super important to make sure that you're qualifying those renters and turning those renters into deals for your landlord, so that you don't delay in getting them a renter for their property. So with MoveBubble, we can get instant alerts 24/7 on the go. This means we're always on call, working to get you the best price and the most reliable renter for your property before anyone else snaps up that renter. Cool. So let's have a look at verification and guarantees. So when an offer comes through on MoveBubble, what does that look like for you guys? And some of you may have joined the webinar last week where we talked about our open banking income verification. So this is where the renter has made an offer on MoveBubble and they're able to connect their current bank account, and we can use that data to show you their real-time affordability. So what can they afford in terms of rent? What does their income look like? What does their spending behavior look like? And also, what does their risk profile look like? So are they spending a lot of their income on gambling, for example, on loan repayments, on an IVA? We can see all of that through the open banking verification, and that comes through to you on every offer for every renter who's moving in that party. And we also offer a rent guarantee. So if an offer is accepted on MoveBubble and the renter moves into that property, and then for some reason something goes wrong and after a day or two they have to move out, we will cover the rent for that property for up to 30 days whilst helping you to find another renter. So that's another little bit of assurance that you can provide to your landlords about offers that come through from MoveBubble. So just to summarize that one and how you may position it to a landlord, offers on MoveBubble are always at asking price, meaning that we'll never need to compromise on rent. The renters have also completed income verification, so we'll never waste time referencing someone who's not qualified. So I know that some renters may put forward an offer and tell you that they do earn the right amount and they are right for that property, but then you could complete some referencing and find out that that's not the case. So with the open banking verification that we give you guys, I think when you put that offer forward to the landlord, you're much more confident that that renter can afford and is right for that property. So thank you very much for joining today. It's really nice to see you all, and I hope to see you next week. And we'll let you know about the topic in an email later this week. Thanks very much, guys.